Hello Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was Dynamic Effort Bench Press Day. Just a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please click like down below, help keep the likes higher than the dislikes. Only you can make that happen. It would be greatly appreciated, so please just reach down there and click it. Today was the final and heaviest wave of the speed work. It might be moving a hair slower, but I need to work on bench speed anyways, and I think over the next few weeks we'll see that, especially when I get over to bands. Because when I do band work, it seems to help with my speed in general. Now setting them up on deadlifts is going to be fun, but at least I have better experience doing it easier on the bench and the squat. So that means instead of lots of sets, we did 8. So the first week was 12 sets, second week was 10, third week we do 8 triples, okay, and the weight gets heavier each time. So today we went with 50% of my bench max on the bar and 25% chain weight. So again, I'm pausing a little bit at the first just so I can try to get more speed. And again, the speed isn't as good as it was last week. It's kind of struggling to get the speed up on this, to be honest. But again, I'm going to have to do waves and waves of speed work to get the speed up where I want it. More practice doing it. But I feel like as far as getting tight right now, all the extra upper back work is helping. And that's really going to be the name of the game. I'm going to let the pecs be along for the ride on the benching and the dips. Okay, that's going to be what I'm going to focus on as far as my pecs go. And that should be enough. If I do 5 sets of dips with high reps, pretty much limit sets every bench day in addition to my benching itself, that'll give me my pec growth. I'm not worried about extra pec growth. That should be enough to keep everything growing, especially with the consistent dips, because I feel that in my pecs more than just about anything. So everything else is going to be about triceps. It's going to be triceps, upper back, all that stuff. Because I know I need more triceps, and I know if my triceps get a lot bigger, particularly the lateral and medial head, my benching will go up. They're still a weak link for me. And I feel like some things are starting to look a little flatter in my calorie deficit a few days in, and that's okay. It'll all balance back out. I think some of it's the case of maybe my body saying, what's going on? But I feel good, performance is good, not hungry. So everything's good there, and the scale's not really going down yet. But again, I've cut over 1,000 calories a day out of my diet. But I feel like looking a little flattered. I feel like the skin is starting to kind of sag a little bit, like I'm noticing that just as far as everything goes. So that's a good sign that I'm in a calorie deficit. And I've seen plenty of other people over the years point that out. A lot of bodybuilders I know kind of point that out. That's how they know they're in a deficit. They lose any real tautness they had in their skin and everything. But things balance out over time, and as the body fat comes down, everything will be good to go. You guys will see me when I do the curls and stuff today. I'm not really hiding anything. You guys can see where the fat and the loose skin and stuff are. Not worried about it. You guys have seen me cut quite a bit of body weight successfully while maintaining muscle. I know how to do it at this point. Have experience confirmed with DEXA scan. I only have to drop about 15 pounds. Well, I've dropped 15 pounds before without losing muscle tissue. So we'll drop 15 and then we'll assess from there where we want to go. But dips went good today, and I'm getting stronger at the dips. With this band, I did 12s on the first few sets, and I left a little bit in reserve because that's what I had gotten to was 12 last time. And the final set, I'm like, let me see if I can get more, and I got 15. So we're getting better at these banded dips in spite of a calorie deficit, so that's a good sign. It means strength and performance is going up. Still means we're gaining muscle, because that's the perfect scenario. I want to make gains while I do this. And as long as I'm careful with everything, I think that I can. Just have to keep the training perfect. But today was definitely upper back and tricep focus. I even kind of skipped the wide grip upright rows today, mainly because they gave me so much DOMs this week from my Monday workout. I'm like, that's enough for the smaller work for the delts like that. I can always do a few band laterals and stuff if I need to, and I'll just do extra rows, right? Because we know the way I do my rows hits the rear delts really hard, which means it's going to work the whole delt. Front delts got worked pretty hard during all this. So I decided just to do extra JM presses and extra set of inverted rows to make up for it today. And obviously when Monday gets here, we'll work it back in. Now people will say, where are the board presses? Board presses are going to be a max effort exercise. It's going to be to make sure that my triceps get trained. So we're going to do it after max benching, and then we'll do the dips each time. Because when I get to the dips, like today, I technically should have been more fatigued than on sometimes the max day because I did more work with the speed work, but I wasn't. So we'll see how it goes after the board pressing each time. But I'm not that worried. If I lose a little performance, it's just because I'm fatigued. And we're doing this to get metabolic fatigue in my pecs, my main hypertrophy movement for pecs, and obviously triceps to a pretty great extent, but lesser extent. But not a big deal. Make it happen. And I wanted to work my JM presses back in today, which I did. But the first 2 sets, I'm like, I left a little bit in reserve, and then I wanted to take it further because I got 12 easy, and I'm like, this feels a little light. I know I could do more reps. Then I started hitting more challenging sets, realized I could get 18. So my first 2 sets didn't really count, right? They're on here, but they're really just warm-ups. Because if I'm able to get 18, so 6 more reps on the next set, these don't really count. They're not true work sets. Now, some people say you're gripping it a little wide. I'm gripping it in the same spot as my closed grip bench, which is about an inch outside the smooths, which is the way I bench these days, because I want my triceps to contract in the same way they do on the bench press. Right? This is for bench accessory, make my triceps work better on the bench. So I ended up, after these 2 sets, I did much more challenging sets and took them somewhere between 17 and 18 reps each, and I did 6 more sets. So 8 total sets, but we'll really only count 6 of them as real work. And I figure I might as well do the extra work. If I'm going to go ahead and skip the wide grip upright rows today, let's get extra JM presses in. Let's get extra inverted rows. Make sure that everything does get hit really hard, right? Because if we're going to pull that out, and it's still a lot of volume today. I mean, 8 sets of speed bench, 5 sets of banded dips, 6 quality sets of JM presses, did 6 sets of inverted rows, 5 sets of hammer curls. And I felt the hammer curls a ton in my bicep. We'll get to that in a minute too. I think they're really the way I need to go for now. But again, tricep dominant training right now. A lot of tricep because I need it. And it doesn't mean I neglect the pecs. It's just that I'm making sure that we have a tricep focus because I feel like that's really what I need for my benching these days and for my overall size. And we don't skip doing weak point training just because I'm in a calorie deficit, right? We don't skip that because it's still possible to make some gains as long as I don't cut quickly. The guys who it's really an issue are guys who are getting really lean, and I think that's where people confuse stuff is, at a certain point they'll say, well, is recomposition possible? Can I gain muscle while losing fat? Well, it depends on a lot of factors, doesn't it? One of the big ones is how fat are you? I'm over 15% body fat right now. That means it's pretty easy. If you're 12% body fat, it's going to be excruciatingly difficult. If you're 9 or 10% body fat, you can forget recomposition. Unless you're willing to up the dose, bro. The only way that's going to happen. When you're at that point, you're delusional if you think you're going to do it. So it's really a question of where you're at in terms of body fat, and it's also a question of how advanced of a lifter you are. The less advanced you are, the easier recomposition is for obvious reasons, because gaining muscle is easier. So if we're talking about gaining muscle while losing fat, well, if gaining muscle is easier, then losing fat while gaining muscle is easier. So in my case, it just means that any gains are going to be very, very slow. But we don't want them to be non-existent. We want to make progress. So we have to do these things, and we will do these things. And that's another reason I don't do my cutting quick. People get obsessed with quick fat loss and all this nonsense. And it's like, well, don't cry when you can't deadlift 600 pounds. Don't cry when you're not big. All right? You got to be realistic about this stuff. Got to be realistic about it. And this is by that same token, dudes start cutting real lean who aren't using the appropriate pharmaceuticals. Let's just call it what it is. And then they complain of the problems they have. Well, no shit. Well, you shouldn't have followed a guy who does a bunch of test and trend while dieting down lean and think you're going to get his results. Sorry, you didn't pay attention. Everyone told you this. I told you this. Don't come cry to me about it. Don't cry to me because you're a dumbass. I warned you and told you guys don't cut to 9% body fat or your penis won't work. Don't cut to 8% body fat or your penis won't work if a supermodel is giving you head. It won't actually work. But don't worry because you won't find her attractive anyways. Okay, there's the real world, guys. Well, I'm sorry some YouTuber told you it's okay to do that without pinning test. I'm sorry that he told you that, but everyone else told you that it's not true, that don't do it. Sorry, that's my rant. I don't even feel sorry for people anymore because I've told everyone this and their excuse is you're just a hater. So then when they experience it themselves, I don't want to do an I told you so. I want them to go away because they're stupid and you can't help stupid people. You can't help stupid people. There's no point in trying. It's a waste of your time. Don't bother. Right? Don't bother. I think that's where people mess up too. You can't help them. I only help people who can be helped, who want to be helped. Let's come back over. Triceps. Going to be a lot of tricep work in all my upper body training because it needs to be a high focus. And if I want them to grow, while I'm losing body fat and losing body weight. It's going to take a lot of work. And we're going to do it. So we'll do board presses next time. But this lit my triceps. If I was worried the first 2 sets, I'm like, I don't feel much tricep. Better look at my technique here a little closer. But no, it's doing what I want it to do in terms of the technique. But once I started getting the higher reps, then my triceps really got that pump and kind of that dull ache. So we're good. Then we did our inverted rows. I did 6 sets. And the last set or two, I tried to see if I could get more than 12 reps because I tried to pause just for a squeeze on the last one. And I was able to, so I'm getting a little bit stronger at doing these. But the fact of the matter is, they still hit everything I want them to hit. And I've been slowly working the grip out a hair wider. I definitely have my pinkage on the rings now. Now, some people would say, why? That's going to work less muscles. It's harder and it works less muscles. Yeah, that's okay. Because it hits the muscles I need it to hit more. I need the upper back worked more. I don't mind the lats getting a little less work. My lats are enormous. I don't care. And my lats are still, number one, getting work doing this. I have Pendlay rows on my lower body days. That will hit the lats a little harder. I need my traps, particularly my mid traps, lower traps, posterior deltoids, rhomboids, all that stuff. I need that stuff to get hit really hard. I need it all to grow. I need my upper back bigger in general. And if I say middle, I don't mean middle like lats, any other mid back at this point. We're talking traps, we're talking the erectors. So a lot of my training is geared towards that stuff. I have to bring those things up. It'll help all my lifting across the board. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of guys make with back training. You know, they do a bunch of chin-ups and pull-ups. And it's unfortunate. I've seen it in my own clients. I have clients who are really good at chins, really good at weighted chins. And I think that goes to show a point we have. What does doing good at chins do? If you're really strong at weighted chins, what does it make you good at? It makes you good at weighted chins. What does it build? Biceps and lats, big time. I mean, if you're really strong at weighted chins and you can do a lot of volume with a decent amount of weight, you're going to have biceps and lats. Problem is that it still doesn't build the upper back. It doesn't build the rear delts. It doesn't build your traps. It doesn't build all that stuff. Not anywhere near as effective as rows are. So if you've been doing nothing but chins and you don't do rows, you may not be as strong overall as you think you are because you've neglected certain parts of your back. And they matter a lot. So I'm putting my focus on those parts of my back. I don't have a problem with lats, and my lats are still getting stimulation with all this. But I've done my time on chins and rows, or on chins and pull-ups. I've done tons of it, and it hasn't always given me everything that I want. So I need the rows. I need this stuff to work it. And then we did 5 sets of hammer curls to failure. Again, great pump in the biceps from doing these. Felt my biceps. Obviously felt my forearms massively also. So we're good. We're hitting everything we need to hit. And we're hopefully getting carryover to all of my rowing. Because if my biceps are not a weak link, or my forearms on any of my rowing, we can do more weight and more volume. So the upper back will grow faster. Okay, so we kill a couple birds with one stone there. Number 2, if we want to improve the bench press, all the stabilizers, it's not just the biceps, it's the brachialis, the radiobrachialis. That stuff matters for the bench at the bottom if we want to build compression. Right, if we want a little bit extra pop out of the bottom from compressing those muscles, which is going to be small, then we need to build all of it up. We need to build it up. Hammer curls fit the bill, and they don't cause bicep tendonitis ever. Right, that's a big deal. But as you guys can see, it gives you guys a good idea too. You can see where I'm at. You can see the amount of body fat I've got. Of course, you get idiots who'll say stupid stuff like, oh, you're 30% body fat. Guys, I'm not over 20%. Sorry if you think that's the case. I've seen what I look like at different points naked myself after DEXA scans. I am not over 20% body fat. So, you know, is what it is. I'll drop weight off, though, as I'm cutting, and then we'll see the changes relatively quickly. Because, again, I do know what I'm doing there. And we'll just kind of have it all documented here. That's the beauty of it. You guys can watch it all real time. Watch it all real time. And it'll be here. So everyone can see it as we go. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.